Americans died there last year. About 12,000 American troops are still stationed in Afghanistan amid drawdown orders from President Trump. Senior foreign affairs correspondent and Face the Nation moderator, that's Margaret Fleming, is Washington with more on this story. Margaret, start with this. What is the current state of talks between the U.S. and the Taliban at this time?
Well, good morning, Gail. Well, the Afghan government and the Taliban aren't even talking to each other, so that gives you a sense of the tension. The U.S. envoy who's trying to broker a deal, his name is Zalmay Khalilzad, said the U.S. did reach a draft agreement with the Taliban about the timeline for U.S. withdrawal. But last week, the Afghan government made an explosive allegation that the details are being deliberately withheld from them. That sparked condemnation from the White House, but apparently worked because a top Afghan official tells me this morning they are now
Let's just take it away over there.
The fear underlying all of this is that the U.S. is going to cut and run and leave them vulnerable.
One of the most well-known verses of Scripture showing that God controls the weather is found in Matthew 8:23-27. Now when he got into a boat, his disciples followed him, and suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and woke him, saying, Lord, save us, we are perishing. But he said to them, Why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. So the men marveled, saying, Who can this be, that even the winds and the sea obey him? We are currently living in a time Jesus refers to as the birth pains. We are fast approaching a time known as the tribulation, that Jesus says will be the worst time in human history, as we read in Matthew 24:21. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. We are currently witnessing events that will continue to become more frequent and more intense until God pours out his final judgments on an unbelieving and unrepentant world. The world is witnessing unprecedented extreme weather that will carry over into the tribulation period, and the news headlines prove it. What we are witnessing is just a glimpse of what the 7-year tribulation will be like.
Rescuers make their way through the murky waters that first hit Jayapura, the capital of Indonesia's Papua province, before spreading across the region. These are some of the people who found safety. Dozens have been killed since torrential rain triggered flash floods on Saturday. Witnesses capture the devastation it caused: submerged homes, collapsed buildings, and piles of scattered debris.
When the flood came, we were watching TV at home. Suddenly, the flood hit us. Fortunately, my 3 brothers helped the children escape to the top of the mountain. But when they came back to fetch our belongings, our house had been washed away by the flood. Although the house was stuck in the trees, the belongings inside, they were all gone.
Rescuers search for the dozens who remain missing, despite the difficulties caused by rots and trees. Several villages were struck, leaving many in need of medical treatment and supplies. These residents are among 12,000 people affected by the floods.
Wow.
As of Tuesday, the government has sent 800 soldiers and 700 police officers to rescue the injured. We also got some support from some volunteers and over 3,000 rescuers deployed by other authorities.
The government has declared a 14-day state of emergency in the province. Landslides and flooding are common during the rainy season, and it's uncertain whether this is the last of the floods. While some injured and displaced victims fill evacuation centers, others try to return to their normal lives, struggling through muddy waters, hoping the worst has finally passed.
Absolutely crazy, isn't it? That's nuts, isn't it? Wow.
We're going to turn now to that massive tropical cyclone causing a humanitarian crisis in southern Africa. Take a look at the devastation there in Mozambique. The number of those killed could rise past 1,000. ABC's Ian Cannell has the very latest.
This morning, the desperate search for the stranded and missing. Homes smashed and washed away as desperate residents try to pick up the pieces. Now, relentless rain creating floodwaters almost 20 foot high in parts. Some have only trees and rooftops for survival. At least 200 confirmed dead, but the president here fears there could be over 1,000 killed by this Category 4 storm. In the small mountain town of Chimanimani in Zimbabwe, one woman's harrowing story of survival. Elia says, "My house caved in and I was stuck under a pile of rocks. My husband, who was sleeping next to me, was crushed to death. And in Malawi, mothers and their children line up in large crowds just to get health care. Watch this rescuer swim to two women stuck on a pile of brush, but they only have a few bowls and their clothes on their backs. It's been a week since Cyclone Idai made landfall with winds over 100 miles an hour. Bridges and roads washed away. A major dam burst as nearly 100,000 people wait to be saved. From above, entire neighborhoods wiped out. Now the help is only just starting to arrive as tractors try to remove trees and debris. So the needs here are immense. People need food, fuel, shelter, and of course medicine. As the hunt for survivors goes on, there are real fears of waterborne diseases such as cholera. In the meantime, the US has dispatched an elite emergency management team to assess what America can do to help.
Jesus declares this in Matthew 24:37-39. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Jesus tells us in verse 37, when our days parallel the days of Noah, he is returning. One of the things that parallel our days with the days of Noah is the unprecedented flooding the world has been experiencing over the last few years. Jesus goes on to tell us in verses 38 and 39 that when he returns, things will be going on as normal, as people will be eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage. Just as in the days of Noah, when people were caught off guard and the flood came, so also will people of our time be caught off guard when Jesus returns.
The historic Midwest floods are getting worse a week after that disaster started to unfold. A new levee breach yesterday on the Missouri River forced the evacuation of the entire town of Craig, Missouri, in just hours. Officials now estimate the cost of the flooding in 4 states to be in the billions of dollars. In Iowa, the governor said she is going to ask President Trump to quickly announce a disaster declaration to help with recovery efforts. Don Daler is in flooded Hamburg, Iowa, which is several miles from the Missouri River. Don, what's it look like this morning?
Yeah, good morning. Well, as you can see, it's wet. This is actually Main Street.
Hey guys,
A lot
I'm going to
deeper
stop
than
next to
you go in
Blackers.
that direction, but of course it's never a good idea to go wandering around flooded streets. And I have to tell you, it is really eerie seeing those street lights stretch all the way into the distance.
Oh.
As we take an overhead look, I'll tell you, much of this is from the Missouri River, which came rushing in here when suddenly hundreds of miles of levees were breached, and within a matter of minutes, Hamburg became a town submerged. In Hamburg, Iowa, nothing was spared. The homes and businesses of the nearly 1,200 people who live here were totally submerged. It's no place for the water to go. Major General Scott Spellman and his team from the Army Corps of
Unbelievable, baby.
Engineers assessed the
Having a go at
devastation
that.
from above. You
I'm
signed up
going to it.
to protect people, to help people. So how does this affect you personally to see this town underwater?
You're dealing with people and communities that are having really the worst day of their lives. And we understand the frustration. We want to do everything we can within our authorities as fast as we can.
Wow.
As we rode through Main Street, it was only passable by boats. Hamburg built a secondary levee before a major flood in 2011. It kept this area dry. Problem is, the Army Corps of Engineers asked them to lower it to 5 feet high to meet federal regulations. And this
Unbelievable. Sorry for spelling.
Kathy Crane has been the town's mayor for 12 years.
This is a tough community. We're little.
That's the sun I'm seeing that.
We're not wealthy.
Unbelievable.
We're not wealthy.
How are you going to rebound?
We're asking for help. We want to keep our businesses here. We want to keep our home. We want to keep our citizens. There are people. We've known them all our lives.
We have noticed the water has been slowly receding. I wouldn't be able to be standing here 2 days ago, but the residents are really
These guys
concerned
are going
that
to
with
stop.
those levees basically destroyed. The town might be susceptible to even more flooding in the coming months. Yana.
people that are suffering right now, and where you're standing on Main Street really looks like a lake. It really puts things into perspective.
Psalm 9:17.
Hibo, hibo.
The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God.
Before the first day of spring, a dangerous
There
wildfire
we
in
go.
Oregon. The wind drove this
And
fire
Bryce had
past
found out disabled,
yesterday
right?
and threatened